Every swing state poll is within the margin of error, and that means tonight, for both candidates, perhaps more so for Harris, there is no room for error. We will have a complete breakdown, also a more thorough breakdown of just how wrong the polls were in 2016 and especially 2020, and a word of caution for those of you conservatives who say, hey, don't believe the polls. The polls were totally off. Trump is actually way ahead. The polls were off in 2020, but not by nearly as much as we might think. All of that coming up. Plus, are Haitian immigrants really eating cats in Springfield, Ohio? The media would very much like you to believe that they are not. Wouldn't you know it? There is one person who was bragging about all of the Haitian migrants that she brought into the United States. I don't think you need three guesses for this one. If you would like to join the Tuesday edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show, our phone lines are open. Call or text anytime. The AdventNews.com talk and text line, 414-799-1130. You can also reach us toll-free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, dod@iheartmedia.com. You can also find us on X, streaming live via the DanoCam at Dan O'Donnell Show there, and also Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. You can also watch the show on our YouTube channel. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. So plenty of poll analysis, plenty of debate preview, all on the show today. But before we get into any of that, we have a very special announcement here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, and that is the unveiling of the 2025 Dan O'Donnell Adventure to Amsterdam and Norway. Please let me cordially invite you on what really is going to amount to the adventure of a lifetime, with cruise and tour sailing Norway's breathtaking fjords aboard the truly magnificent Celebrity Eclipse, June 13th through the 23rd, 2025. Think about it. Soaring mountainous landscapes, the crystal blue waters, the jaw-dropping glaciers, and all the charm of old world Europe, all on one magical trip. First, we'll fly into Amsterdam, where we'll spend 2 days taking in one of the most beautiful and famous cities in the entire world. Included in this trip is a lunch cruise along the famous canals of Amsterdam, and we'll also get to know each other with the welcome dinner. All of this is going to take place against the backdrop of those canals constructed in the 17th century, making them some of the world's most unique and recognized landscapes. From there, you'll have another full day to explore Amsterdam. There is a whole ton of some of the most famous artwork in the entire world. Van Goghs, Rembrandts, Vermeers, modern art. You can enjoy a bicycle ride along the city's many pathways, touring the oldest brewery in the Netherlands, the world-famous Heineken, which of course we'll finish with a tasting. After that, we board the Celebrity Eclipse. It's a state-of-the-art vessel with world-class amenities and entertainment. Folks, 2 years ago, we toured Alaska aboard the Celebrity Millennium, and every single listener who joined us, and there were about 175 of them, were floored with the level of service and accommodations. Included in this are cabins that are far more spacious and far more comfortable than you might imagine, as well as entertainment every single night, 29 different restaurants and bars, an incredible pool at the top deck, exercise facilities, and much, much more. Included in this, every single meal, every single drink, alcoholic or non, and every single tip. Everything is included. During a day at sea, where we'll head out to the famous Norwegian fjords, you can explore the ship, and then this is not a cruise of the open ocean. If you've been on a cruise, even a European cruise, you've probably got an idea of what it looks like. You're sailing through pretty much open water and seeing land at a distance. I can't even do justice. You can almost not describe the Norwegian fjords in words. They are almost indescribably beautiful, and we're going to be touring right in between them. The mountain vistas just rise hundreds, thousands of feet above just amazing ports of call, like our very first, the town of Molde. It's a small fjord city nestled between mountains along crystal blue waters and pristine beaches. It's known for its lush gardens and is actually referred to by locals and European travelers alike as the town of roses. We then tour a fjord up the water to the town of Olden. It's a picturesque 17th century village at the mouth of the Oldilva River, cocooned between towering mountains and a serene glacier, sitting at the basin of cascading waterfalls, which frame the city as they fall gently in the background. Our featured event that day, included in the price of the tour, is a boat cruise along the glacier waters of Lake Lodalen, renowned for awe-inspiring mountains, waterfalls, and the very famous, world-famous Kjendal Glacier. Ladies and gentlemen, in Alaska, we were fortunate enough to, on our very first day at sea, see a glacier up close. We took a small boat from the cruise ship and got to within 200, 300, maybe 500 yards of the glacier. We're going to be getting way closer than that. And I can tell you from experience, hearing the ice fall off of the glacier, sipping from glacier waters, they actually made us a margarita from glacier water. It's incredible. You can almost not believe that what you're seeing rising up in front of you is real. Then we're going on a troll car journey, immersing ourselves in majestic mountain surroundings as we step onto the Briskdal Glacier and explore Jostedal Glacier National Park. That's right, we are actually, as part of the included excursions on this trip, walking on a glacier. Now, we just got back from London, Normandy, and Paris. This summer, we took a tour of Croatia and Venice. Last year, it was Alaska. This year, we're combining all of those experiences, the charm of Europe, the history, the culture, with the awe-inspiring majesty of natural beauty that you can only see on the Norwegian fjords. From there, we go to the city of Stavanger, the edge of Norway. It's the oil capital of the country, known for its preserved wooden houses. This is where you see traditional Norwegian culture. Its most famous location is known in English as Pulpit Rock, actually named by multiple travel magazines as the, quote, world's most breathtaking viewpoint. There's also a 12th century historic cathedral, an incredible street art scene, restaurants, shops, everything you can imagine. From there, we get back on the boat, tour the fjord up again to Kristiansand, known as the Hollywood of Norway. It is the popular vacation destination for Norwegians and Northern Europeans alike. This is a city that actually dates back to the early 5th century. Think about that. Dates back to the 400s. And it is the cultural arts and music center of the entire country. It is an incredible city to explore. The pictures that I was looking at when this trip was first announced to me just made me think, how quickly can we get here? There are museums, hiking trails, anything you might want. From there, it's back to Amsterdam for some more time in one of the most famous cities in the world, and then we head home. It is 11 days of incredible trip. And all of it is planned by the incredible, just absolutely amazing people at Cruisin' Tour. Cruise-tour.com is the website if you want more information, or you can give them a call right now at 800-383-3131. They have got people standing by to answer every single question you have. 800-383-3131. Booking a trip like this on your own can be daunting. If you've always wanted to go to Europe, if you've always wanted to see the Norwegian fjords specifically, if you've always wanted to do a cruise like this, let's face it, there's a lot of planning involved. There's a lot of things that might seem intimidating with respect to international travel. Cruisin' Tour takes care of everything. They have multiple people on board with us every single step of the way, and they handle it all. Any problem that potentially arises, they handle it. Any question you might have, they answer it. And by the way, I'm there every single step of the way, along with my entire family. We've been looking forward to this for a long time, and those who have toured with us aboard Cruisin' Tour's previous trips know that I'm about as accessible as it gets. I'm chatting people up every single hour of every single day. You're not going to just see me once or twice. In fact, you come hang out with me, I'll be doing talks and question and answer sessions and the like that you'll get with any radio personality trip, but I always make it my mission to be as accessible as humanly possible on these vacations, because I understand that I'm the host. I understand that part of the draw, with no artificial boost to my own ego, is coming with me, and I want to make sure to get to know you. And that's the thing that really stands out to me about group travel. Having done these things to Ireland and Alaska and Europe a number of times, the best part of it, to me at least, the very best part of it is meeting all of you and seeing everybody get to know each other and really come together as not just a group of fellow like-minded travelers, but as friends, people who really get to know each other, who will go to shows on the ship together, who will stop for drinks afterwards, just chat each other up, go on excursions together. In fact, a number of people on the Dan O'Donnell Show adventures, going all the way back to the Mark Belling cruises, have been on these trips for a long time. There are really great groups of people. In fact, if you can believe this, tomorrow we're going with my in-laws who are on our Venice and Croatia trip with a group of about 15 to 16 people who were on that trip and really became friends with my in-laws, my mom and her best friend, and of course our family. They're veterans of a number of Mark Belling Show trips and Dan O'Donnell trips, and it's just great. You really do keep in touch with the people that you meet on these, and it can become an annual tradition. I can't tell you how fun it is to travel with a group of people and get to know them, especially when you're traveling to truly one of the most beautiful, unique locations on Earth. The Norwegian fjords are indescribably beautiful, breathtaking in their soaring majesty, and seeing the small port towns is an immersion into Northern European Norwegian culture. I can't wait for you to join me to get more information and to book your trip. I can tell you that since we opened up this trip to past cruisers, it has been selling out very, very quickly. We set sail June 13th through the 23rd, 2025. And if you would like to be a part of it, give a call to 800-383-3131. That's 800-383-3131. Or head to cruise-tour.com. The Dan O'Donnell Adventure to Norway. I certainly hope you can join us.
We're less than 2 weeks away from our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Taking over T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, September 20th and 21st.
Listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
World, all in one incredible trip. I hope you will be
thing goes wrong, and that matters. We run from nothing. Color Wheel Painting. We're 20 years in, a track record to trust. We do fantastic things. Oh, and we paint. Color Wheel Painting. ColorWheelPainting.com.
Make American Family Field your space to grow relationships with clients, employees, and prospects with Brewers season memberships for the 2025 season. Your corporate season membership with the Brewers grants exclusive discounts on premium meeting spaces, invitations to networking events, and one-of-a-kind opportunities to grow your business at the ballpark. Learn more about Brewers season memberships for businesses at brewers.com/ticket plans or call 414-902-HITS.
While most other furniture finishers restore wood furniture using high-pressure water to remove old lacquer and varnish, we only use a chemical solvent. Because when you use water, it will eventually raise the grain, loosen glue joints, and lift veneer. So if you have something really special that you'd like to restore, call us. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you want your restored antique piece to remain primitive, no problem. Maybe you want to restore it to as good as new condition. We can do that. The way we work is based solely on what your needs are. And that seems to make the process of restoring your unique piece almost always a positive one. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
The one thing we know for certain is the United States is going to be one intense place this fall.
The Tucker Carlson Live Tour is coming to Fiserv Forum September 16th.
So we thought, what better time to hit the road and see the country? And we're going to this fall. From coast to coast, we're going on a live tour with a bunch of friends of ours who you will recognize. We're going to be live on stage responding to everything that is happening in real time.
Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Presented by Sambrosa.com and brought to you by Swan Bitcoin.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit LynchTruckCenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
I'm Matt, and I'm a former Trump voter. One of my biggest beefs with Donald Trump is that with him, anybody who doesn't agree with him is a radical, is a lunatic, is a leftist, a Marxist, a communist, somebody out to destroy America. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris because I don't want to live in a world that's all about hatred and retribution and getting even with your neighbors and getting rid of people who are different from me.
Republican Accountability PAC, Inc., paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee, ra-pac.org.
Life is precious, but it could all get taken away in an instant. That's why a 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply belongs in your home. It's got everything you could need during a crisis. With over 2,000 calories per day, there's enough to go around during times of social unrest, government crackdowns, or God forbid, an attack on the homeland. The food lasts up to 25 years, ready whenever disaster strikes. We've seen mass panic in our lifetimes before. Some were not that long ago. So don't take your family's safety for granted. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and save $50 on your 4-week emergency food kit. And My Patriot Supply will ship it for free as fast as humanly possible. Get your 4-week emergency food kit now at MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Attention well pump owners, do you have enough water pressure for your needs? Can you run 2 faucets at once without a problem? If you answered no to either of these questions, talk to an S&K Pump and Plumbing professional about a well pump checkout before you're left high and dry. They feature a full line of well pump equipment. Contact them at 262-784-HELP or SNKPump.com.
When it comes to water, one call does it all. SNK Pump and Plumbing.
Operators are standing by as our 2025 Dan O'Donnell adventure to Amsterdam and cruise of the Norwegian fjords is now officially open for business. We're leaving June 13th, getting back June 23rd. It is going to be absolutely spectacular. Call 800-383-3131. We have already got a big group signed up, and we would love for you to join us. Space is limited, and they can answer all of your questions at 800-383-3131, or you can just head to cruise-tour.com. Cruise-tour.com. I am in the process of putting up a Facebook page for this, a landing site, if you will. And as well, putting it on my X account, where, by the way, you can watch this show streaming live via the Dan Cam. It's not just me saying that Kamala's lack of extemporaneous speaking engagements, whether it's debates or unscripted interviews. Remember, the one that she had was with about the most friendly interviewer she could find in Dana Bash of CNN, and she had to bring along her emotional support buffoon, her running mate, Tim Walz. In fact, Alex Thompson of Axios.com noted on the Brianna Keilar show on CNN that, look, every single time that she goes out and speaks extemporaneously, it's magnified and it's going to be heavily scrutinized. Look, when exactly did you start to see the not nosediving, but decline in the polls for Kamala Harris? You can actually pinpoint to the exact moment. It was right after that interview. It was people heard from her in an unscripted setting, stripped away of the joy and vibes and debates over whether Kamala is brat and having a brat summer. Yes, this is a real thing. They heard from the candidate and they didn't like what they heard. They were reminded that Kamala Harris was so unpopular that in spring, it was openly debated whether Biden should drop her because she was seen by so many people as being so unfit and unprepared to be president in the event that Biden, and I'm not saying in the event, look, he's 82 years old, in the event that he passes away or is physically or mentally unfit to be president. Well, it turns out that's already happened and everyone is just sort of cool with it. We essentially haven't had a president since Biden dropped out, and I would argue much longer than that. But what Thompson says in this interview with Brianna Keilar is that because Kamala opens herself up to reminding people who Kamala has always been in the eyes of voters before the artificial media boost, and what I termed relief, not joy, I think I came up with off of the top of my head almost exactly 24 hours ago, a pretty good analogy of what Democrats and their allies in the media were feeling when Kamala was announced as the candidate when Biden dropped out. It was sort of like that feeling you feel when you're going 90 miles an hour down the freeway in a 70 and you go right past a squad car and you realize a couple of seconds, maybe 15 seconds later, that the cop isn't going to try to pull you over. You feel this overwhelming sense of relief. Your heart starts beating. You just feel, everybody I think knows the feeling. It might not be in that context. I can just remember it most acutely when I first felt it. I was probably 17, 18 years old and just going way too fast. passed. Sorry, Mom. And didn't get pulled out. Oh, man. Just relief. That's what Democrats felt. It wasn't joy. It was relief. But what Thompson is saying is, and he wrote about this, every single time that she speaks extemporaneously, she now runs the risk of reminding voters, hey, wait a second, maybe she wasn't that big of an upgrade from Joe Biden.
I want to read something that you wrote. One of the features of her melded staff, which is Harris loyalists and Obama alumni grafted onto existing Biden staffers, is that even some of her own staffers aren't sure where she stands on a range of issues. How did you find that affecting things, and how pervasive is that?
Just give you one small example. So last week, I asked her campaign, would she sign a bill she co-sponsored in 2019 that basically mandated automakers to only make electric vehicles by 2035, 2040. And it took 6 days for me to get an answer. And the answer at the end of those 6 days was no comment. And this is sort of an aspect of what some people in the Democratic Party have told me is like the Frankenstein campaign, is that, by virtue of the unprecedented circumstances of her getting into this race so late, you have this situation in which, it's part Obama staffers, it's part Biden staffers, and it's part her team. And it's really sometimes unclear who's in charge. And also a lot of those people don't have extensive knowledge of the candidate they're now working for.
Now, how might they, as well as the rest of us, gain extensive knowledge of said candidate? She could open her mouth and talk. She could say what she actually believes. We get anonymous reports that she has changed her position on fracking. She hasn't changed her values, but she's changed her position on fracking. She's changed her position on border security. Heck, she's even changed her position on a border wall. You've got 5 years of Kamala Harris saying a border wall, and I guarantee this line was written for her. She called it Trump's medieval vanity project. You can go back in the archives. She said it at least 5 or 6 times. Now she supports a border wall. Now you've got her walking in front of Trump's border wall in one of her commercials while talking about being tough on border security. This isn't coming from the candidate herself. This is coming from a campaign that has no idea, just like the rest of us, what the campaign is supposed to say. Because the candidate isn't giving clear positions. The candidate isn't being allowed to give clear positions because rather obviously those positions are totally unpopular and out of step with the American mainstream. Biden was able to win, and make no mistake, folks, he snuck by Trump. He eked out a win in spite of everything that happened in 2020 because he was able to position himself as a moderate. And believe it or not, even as we made fun of Biden for hiding in the basement and only doing friendly interviews, he was doing interviews. He was talking to Charlemagne the God. Sure, he was getting piped in from his little basement studio in Delaware. He wasn't going out and campaigning, but he was actually being forced to answer questions, speak extemporaneously, and tell voters what he absolutely actually believes. Harris has not had that. And what Thompson is saying without saying it is that because she hasn't been forced to do that, her campaign is sort of perpetually on defense, waiting for the next time she opens her mouth, and that is likely to happen tonight, and totally contradicts the carefully crafted policy positions that they have laid out before her. Does this make sense? That she, when speaking from the heart, is going to sound like a California liberal. How do you suppose that plays in the upper Midwest? When we come back, we will name the unhinged liberal of the day. Stay tuned. It's the Dan O'Donnell Show.
The Dan O'Donnell Show.
We'll be right back.
If you're someone who hears love and thinks about a quarterback instead of romance, you're primed to listen to Green Bay Grapevine on WISN. Before and after every game, hard-boiled reporter Mark Daniels tells Jay Weber and his morning show audience about all of the trends and subtleties swirling around the green and gold.
Green Bay Grapevine is presented by Bob's Glass in Waukesha, featuring installation of glorious glass shower doors. If it's anything glass, think Bob's Glass. Bobs-glass.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for the incredible team at Mander Collision and Glass, now with 6 locations to serve you. And you hear me talk about my great experiences with Mander all the time. Here's David. I had a chip in my windshield of my 2009 Chevy Malibu repaired today. Scheduling was a breeze. Staff was great. I was in and out in under half an hour. That's the Mander difference for you. Quick, professional work with customer service that's second to none. They treat you as a valued member of the family and not just a number like some of the big national chains. It's service that you can only get with a third-generation family business, and that's why I've been using Mander Collision and Glass for so many years, and so many listeners are now discovering and have discovered the Mander difference too. You can check them out at any one of their great locations: Cedarburg, Brookfield, Heartland, Milwaukee, Muskego, or Waukesha, and start your repair today at mandercollision.com.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, we want you to go ahead and smile. Right now, new denture wearers get a free upgrade to our premium denture for the price of an economy. That's an average savings of $700. Don't wait. Get the smile you've always dreamed of. Call 1-800-DENTURE to schedule your consultation today. Offer ends October 7th. Restrictions apply. Go to affordabledentures.com to learn more.
Go ahead and smile.
This weekend at Fletcher Arms, food, fun, and firearms. Come join us for an end-of-summer party at our Fletcher Arms Lake Country location in Pewaukee this Saturday, September 14th, starting at 11 a.m. It's our biggest sale of the year. Enter to win a Fletcher Arms gift certificate, play some games, enjoy some food and beverage, and come hang out with your Fletcher Arms staff. We'll have something for the whole family, including a child safety event for the little ones. See you this Saturday, September 14th at Fletcher Arms in Pewaukee for food, fun, and firearms.
It's pretty simple. We do what we say we're going to do because we fully understand that a reputation is never given. It's always earned.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
Vice President Harris.
They are out of their mind.
Former President Trump.
We have to set the record straight.
Go toe-to-toe in Philly.
The presidential debate.
Listen tonight at 9 Eastern on iHeart's 24/7 News Channel.
Or search debate on the free iHeartRadio app.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Conservative thought, not just talk. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Coming up after the top of the hour, I dare say we have got the best analysis of polling that you will find anywhere. Past is not prologue, but it does offer some insight as to what the polls are actually saying right now. Do not get too giddy over Nate Silver's model. I never thought I would say this because I lived through the 2012 election, and Nate Silver was basically like the calming grandma of the paranoid libs. Every time there would be a new poll that would come out that would show Mitt Romney leading, or this also just, it's a great insight into the mindset of modern liberals, even going back 12 years. Every time they get some bad news, there is such incredible cognitive dissonance. They're so unable to process it that they lash out. They deny it. It's kind of remarkable. Republicans do this too with respect to the polls. Whenever you hear, well, I don't believe the polls. The polls are all wrong. The polls were totally wrong in 2016. Were they? How wrong were the national polls in 2016? We'll find out coming up after the top of the hour. But Democrats were constantly going in 2012, okay, well, don't worry, Nate Silver, he's always right. He knows what's going on. Now Nate Silver is saying Trump has a 2/3 chance of winning Pennsylvania and thus the presidency, that he's going to, according to Silver's model right now, he's going to sweep all of the swing states, including Wisconsin and Michigan. Frankly, I find that difficult to believe, but Silver's model is pretty good. He's got a very detailed, good explanation of why he's doing. He's no longer with 538. So 538, I believe, is run by Nate Cohn, although Cohn might be running the New York Times. So I'm not exactly sure. Oh, we do need to correct one thing. My producer was wrong about the time of the debate, and your humble host was, as always, correct. I said it was 8 o'clock tonight, Central Time. He said, no, Dan, the debate starts at 7. It starts at 7. What he meant was our coverage starts at 7. The debate does, in fact, start at 8. We will be having Fox News coverage pre and post debate. I don't know. Frankly, I wasn't asked if I wanted to do pre-debate coverage or post-debate coverage. I guess I would, but I don't know. I gotta be ready for a show the following morning, so I don't know. We're running Fox News. Would you have wanted to come in and do debate coverage with me? You're already here, so he says sure. All right. Without any further ado, let's bring you the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Once again, the Democrat narrative has returned to Trump will end democracy. We had a brief foray into Trump is charged with 157,000 felonies. Trump is a convicted felon. Isn't it weird how Donald Trump has been convicted of 34 crimes and you never hear Democrats talk about it? Isn't that weird? It would seem to me if my opponent was a convicted felon, that's all I would say is, okay, yeah, well, my guy committed crimes? Or is it, and did you notice the sentencing for the 34 felonies has been pushed back to after the election, because clearly everyone involved in that farce understood that it backfired, because everyone knew that this was rather obviously politically motivated. If it's not, Democrats, please tell me. The only other time in American history that someone was criminally convicted for doing the thing Trump did. You can't, because it has never happened. So we had this foray. The strategy was always going to be cover up for Biden's obvious cognitive decline and just get Trump hit with as many criminal charges as possible. Well, it turns out that didn't work. So now we're back to, if you don't vote for Democrats, democracy will end. Latest example, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I think he's telling us once again exactly what his designs are for democracy, and that is give him the chance, and Donald Trump will truly destroy our democracy.
So if you don't vote the way I want you to, there will be no more democracy. I'm sorry, that totally sounds like someone who doesn't want democracy, but rather autocratic one-party rule would say. Elizabeth Warren, your unhinged liberal of the day. Coming up after the top of the hour news, I hope the best polling analysis that you will see. How wrong were the polls really, and what does that mean in 2024?
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. Family members of missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu believe human skeletal remains found in Manitowoc County on Saturday belong to him. A Facebook post from the lost toddler's grandmother says it's likely the remains are his, but it won't be confirmed until DNA comes back. Law enforcement hasn't yet publicly linked the boy's case to the human remains found. The organizer of a search party for Elijah, Michelle Ramsden, tells Fox 6 News she's devastated after hearing the news of the remains, which were found by a hunter near the boy's previous home.
If this is Elijah, it's finally closure for all of us, but not how we wanted the outcome to be.
Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, and her boyfriend, Jesse Vang, are still in jail charged with child neglect. A 39-year-old is dead following a shooting late last night on Milwaukee's south side. Police say the victim died at the scene of the gunfire near 24th and Pierce. A 29-year-old was taken into custody. The Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office is looking into charges. An Israeli airstrike on a crowded tent camp in a Gaza humanitarian zone this morning reportedly killed at least 19 people and injured 60 others. The Gaza Health Ministry says the toll may rise as more bodies were recovered. The Israeli military said it targeted senior Hamas militants, and they dispute the death toll. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports scoreboard, the Brewers start a series with the Giants tonight in San Francisco. This reminder, WISN's live coverage of the presidential debate between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris begins tonight at 7. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. I've been a big proponent of Lynch for a while now. Here's why. They're literally a family dealership and have been since 1957. That's increasingly rare in the dealership world today, but the Lynch family employs 500 plus people who are all dedicated to taking care of you. They've got a wide selection of new and used vehicles, extended service department hours for early drop-offs and late pickups, and most importantly, they're proud supporters of our local communities and schools. They also stand behind what they sell with Lynch-certified used vehicles, including a 168-point inspection to determine eligibility, an unparalleled 90-day or 3,000-mile certified guarantee, and a 10-day 500-mile exchange policy. And when you pair this with the Lynch Protected program, they cover your paint, your windshield, and your tires. It's easy to see why you should consider Lynch. Check them out today at shoplynch.com.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Mostly sunny, but a little hazy today with some wildfire smoke in the upper atmosphere. High near 84, southwest breeze at around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy and 60 tonight, partly sunny and 88 tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Batsner Pest Control. Big news! Will Kill is becoming Batsner Pest Control, upholding a 100-year tradition of excellence. With over 75 years experience, Batsner offers top-notch, hassle-free pest protection. For personalized service and peace of mind, visit Batsner.com.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
You know, we've always tried to make the right decisions, and I think that's what's gotten us to this point.
Ben and Arvid from Penny Mustard Furnishings.
The people we hire are like us, and they try to make the right decisions. When you do that, you end up satisfying customers, and customers keep coming back.
We've been blessed with God's blessings and our employees and everybody that's helped grow this business to what we are, with a bunch of stores, and I way beyond my wildest dreams.
PennyMustard.com.
Business owners, when the time comes to sell your business, experience matters. Lake Country Advisors is your local, award-winning M&A firm, and we're right here in Wisconsin. So to sell your business the right way, schedule a free consultation by visiting LakeCountryAdvisors.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Madsen, owner of Color Wheel Painting, and I'm often asked, what does Color Wheel do? Well, I'll tell you. Color Wheel Painting puts smiles on people's faces. Color Wheel puts you, your spouse, your kids, your pets at ease with its approachable, shockingly normal, easy to get along with staff. Color Wheel makes the time to answer your questions. Color Wheel returns calls, emails, text messages, and we do it quickly because Color Wheel knows you're busy and need answers. That's right, we're reachable, communicative, proactive, and accountable. Color Wheel is dedicated to giving you wonderful service and results. We work with you, not against you, and Color Wheel always makes things right when the occasional thing goes wrong, and that matters. We run from nothing. Color Wheel Painting. We're 20 years in, a track record to trust. We do fantastic things. Oh, and we paint. Color Wheel Painting, colorwheelpainting.com.
Dr. Ryan Green, sharing a weight loss discovery.
You've heard of those weight loss injections that produce shocking results, right? If your goal is to lose weight, a group of doctors created a remarkable weight loss supplement called Lean, and it's very encouraging. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to help maintain healthy glucose levels, help burn fat by converting fat into energy, and reduce appetite so you eat less. Lean could be the weight loss answer you've been searching for.
Visit TakeLean.com, promo code radio. That's TakeLean.com, promo code radio.
Hi, this is Nick from Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer, and if you want to sell your house fast for cash, contact us today. We are a local family business, A+ with the BBB, and we always treat you right. Visit MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com to get your fair as-is cash offer today.
Be sure to listen to the NX Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. NX provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
This is where sycophants and chills are shunned, and commitment to the unvarnished truth is sustained. Just one reason that this is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WISN.
Welcome back. 414-799-1130 is our AdventKnows.com talk and text line. 1-800-838-9476 is our toll-free talk and text line. Email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. Just how much were the 2016 and 2020 polls off by? A ton, right? That's become the common refrain in conservative circles. Well, you can't trust the polls because they were off by so much 4 and 8 years ago. That is not entirely true. Before we get to that, a reminder that we are announcing today the 2025 Dan O'Donnell Adventure. We're touring the Norwegian fjords aboard the Celebrity Eclipse. And it is accurate to say that this is 2025 going to be the last year that traditional cruise ships, with a slight caveat, are going to be allowed into Norway's fjords. Norway is, unsurprisingly, changing its emissions standards. So ships will have to essentially put less carbon into the air and less pollutants into the water. It is a very convoluted reason why traditional cruise ships might not be allowed past 2025. In fact, our cruise ship captain, when we went to Croatia over the summer, was explaining it to us. So suffice it to say, you still will be able to tour the Norwegian fjords. You still will be able to cruise them, and cruising the fjords is really the only way to do it after 2025, but you might not get the range of cruise ships that are available. And let me tell you, the Celebrity Eclipse is the top of the top of the top. We were on the Celebrity Millennium last year when we cruised Alaska. The entertainment was jaw-dropping. The food was top-notch. And I'm told the Celebrity Eclipse has even better amenities than the Millennium. We're also going to be going with a group of like-minded listeners, and we're going to have a big group, so plenty of opportunities to make new friends. I will be heavily involved every single step of the way. I try to make it my point to meet and get to know every single person on this trip, as well as my family. My wife and kids are going to be going. I think my in-laws are going to be going. I believe my mom, her boyfriend, her best friend are going to be going. It's going to be an O'Donnell celebration in Norway, June 13th through the 23rd. This is going to be truly the trip of a lifetime. Soaring landscapes, crystal blue waters, almost indescribably beautiful glaciers, and the fjords themselves. It's a cruise unlike anything you've ever done before or would ever potentially do again. And Cruise and Tour staff members are standing by right now to take your bookings or to just get more information. Call 800-383-3131. That's 800-383-3131. Or head to cruise-tour.com. How much were the 2016 national polls off by, overstating Hillary Clinton's victory? Just guess. If I had to put it out to you, national polling, how off were the polls? 4.5 points, says producer Dave. I don't want to do this as like a guessing game via our talk and text line, but I think that's a pretty good guess. 4.5 points. Try 1.1. The polls were absolutely within the margin of error of victory. Now, these were the final polls taken right before the election. Common knowledge is that Donald Trump was given no chance. And in fact, in the upshot, the New York Times election forecasting model, he had just a 1% chance of winning the election on the day of the election. That was one model. The polls only missed by 1.2 points. Hillary Clinton won the national popular vote. And remember, this is what is being gauged here, the national popular vote. She won the popular vote by 2.1 points, 2.1%. That, however, translated to a Trump victory by a bigger margin than I think people might have expected. And this is why the left hates the Electoral College so much. Trump can actually lose the national popular vote probably by about 4 to 5 points and still theoretically win the Electoral College. Hillary Clinton won the national popular vote 48.2% to 46.1%. She won by 2.1%. In the final Real Clear polling average of polls, it was 7 polls taken right before the election, Hillary Clinton was forecast to win the national popular vote by 3.2%. In terms of overestimating Hillary's support, how much do you think they overestimated Hillary's support? They said, oh, she was going to get 52% of the vote, and she only got 48%. It's a myth. The polls only overestimated Hillary's support by 1.4%. How much did they underestimate Trump's support by? Well, it's got to be 5 or 6, right, Dan? Nope, 2.5%. The polls were off in 2016, and this was considered one of the biggest polling misses, and they were only off by about 1.2%. In 2020, believe it or not, the polls were actually less accurate heading into the final stretch of the race than they were in 2016. Biden was projected to win by 7.2%. Well, Dan, that's just absurd. He won the national popular vote by 4.5%. And he barely won in the Electoral College. So the polls were off only by 2.7%. Now, that's a statistically significant miss, but it wasn't the massive swing and a whiff that is sort of in our minds when we say don't believe any poll. What I always say is a poll is a snapshot in time. There are biases that affect the polls, and it is just amazing to me how every single time you see July, August especially, what did I tell you through the entire month of August? Producer Dave, what was I telling you over and over and over on this here radio show? No, it wasn't so much relaxed. Well, I was saying that, but what I said was August, for whatever reason, is the very best month of polling for Democrats. It is by far the best, and I'm convinced that played into why they were going to unveil Kamala at some point in August. I think the Trump assassination attempt, which, if you haven't noticed, has totally... Do you realize 2 months ago, less than 2 months ago, almost exactly 2 months ago, actually, Donald Trump was very nearly shot in the head and killed, and nobody in mainstream news is talking about it. I find that almost incredible to believe. Not, however, super surprising. Once that happened, I think they had to rush Kamala into production as a presidential candidate, as it were, because Trump was getting this massive bump. He was going to get a huge bump out of that Republican convention because it was just so well. Even Democrats had to sort of grudgingly admit the Milwaukee Republican convention was one of the very best of the modern conventions where we've had, the TV and all of this. It was just, start to finish, it was an almost perfectly run convention. It was just very, very good. So she is announced as the candidate. Biden announces that he is dropping out right after that to take all of this out of the news cycle. And then, of course, nobody mentions again that, oh, hey, by the way, some deranged dude almost shot and killed Trump, and the Secret Service was criminally negligent in how it failed to secure that scene. Or, notice the guy on the roof with a rifle. So Kamala got a huge bump in August that is now sort of coming back to earth. Biden barely won in 2020, but he won the national popular vote by 4.5%. In case you're wondering why the Dems are freaking out about polling right now, we have had 4 of the last 5 national polls come in. I'm talking about the big ones. You've got Harvard Harris, you've got New York Times Siena, I believe Morning Consult put out one, that are showing this race within 1 point, either tied or Trump +1, as in New York Times Siena. Trump +1 in a national popular vote translates to a Trump landslide. They all know it. Trump can lose, as he did in 2016, by 2.1% in the national popular vote. He can probably lose by 3 or 4% and still win the Electoral College. But in 2020, even though the polls were off, they overestimated Biden's support by about 0.2%. They underestimated Trump's support by 2.9%. So, in 2016 and 2020, the two prior races featuring Donald Trump, national polls were off by an average of 2.4%. They overestimated Democrats by 0.8% and underestimated Trump by 2.7%. It is theoretically possible then, as you're seeing national polling come in that shows this race tied, that Trump is actually up 4 points. In that case, you're looking at a 320 electoral vote landslide. I'm not saying this is going to happen. Again, a poll is simply a snapshot in time. You should never, ever, ever look at just one poll, but look at all of them in toto. Now we have something that has arisen over the past 4 years that really wasn't very popular in either 2016 or 2020. But now that we've had the rise of Polymarket, Predictit, the presidential betting sites, essentially, you now have betting odds, who's a favorite, what percent favorite. We have far more presidential election models. Nate Silver, 538, The Economist. I think the New York Times is still doing its. Every single model, save for Nate Silver, who historically has been very, very accurate, much to Republicans' chagrin. In fact, I can remember in 2022, he was stubbornly more bullish on Democrats than almost anybody else. He was saying, look, the red wave that's coming isn't showing up in the data. And I follow Nate Silver. I always have. I mean, the guy was very accurate. He missed like everybody else in 2016, but he was actually relatively close. He's the only one who's saying Trump is going to run away with this election. The others are saying Kamala is barely ahead, but I think that discounts Trump's strength in Pennsylvania. And when we come back, we will get into the state level polling and just where it was in respect to the actual final vote. How off were the swing state polls in 2020? Again, not nearly as much as you think.
Dan O'Donnell is coming right back after this.
Hi, it's Jerry Bott, and for lots of us, me included, it's inevitable. Joint pain or perhaps a diagnosis of bone-on-bone pain in your knees, back, hips, or shoulders, the kind of pain that can stop you from loving life. And if you've been told you need surgery, stop. There is another way. Longevity Health 360 offers state-of-the-art cellular therapies that provide lasting relief without surgery. They're the Midwest leaders in advanced regenerative therapies, treatments that harness your body's natural healing abilities without drugs, surgery, or downtime. Longevity Health 360 has a local team of board-certified physicians trained in orthopedics and regenerative medicine, and they're here to help rejuvenate joints and restore mobility. Call now for a consultation and MRI review, both free. Call 262-200-2700 or visit longevityhealth360.com. Don't settle for a life of steroids and surgery and pain pills. Call Longevity Health 360, 262-200-2700.
Make American Family Field your space to grow relationships with clients, employees, and prospects with Brewers season memberships for the 2025 season. Your corporate season membership with the Brewers grants exclusive discounts on premium meeting spaces, invitations to networking events, and one-of-a-kind opportunities to grow your business at the ballpark. Learn more about Brewers season memberships for businesses at brewers.com/ticket plans or call 414-902-HITS.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. 844-43-BIBLE.
The polls were not off in 2016 or 2020 as much as you think. Now, you would think, okay, 3% off, that's huge. It's not great, but that is within most polls' margin of error. The reason that polls do have a margin of error is because they account for the variability in responses. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds in this. There are serious problems with the polling industry, chief among them the fact that a whole lot of conservatives just will not talk to media pollsters. Another one is that people are far more difficult to get a hold of. Think about if you own an iPhone, and the iPhone is by far the world's most popular phone, or at least America's most popular phone. I think it is now the world's most popular phone. But in the United States of America, more people own iPhones than any other type of phone. I'm not saying all Android phones, but the model of phone that's most popular. iPhones have a setting that I believe is automatically turned on when you buy a new iPhone, that if you don't have the number saved in your phone, it will immediately mark that call as spam. And it learns from whether or not you reject those calls and will send them straight to voicemail. Now, if a pollster is calling from a random 800 number or some random number with an area code you don't recognize, what's the likelihood that we're conditioned to not answer those calls? So there's response bias in the people who have more weight in their responses are the people who actually respond. This is pretty elementary, right? Even in the swing states, the polling was not that off. The battleground states that are most in play in 2024, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona, were only off by an average of 1.7% in 2020. 1.7%. They only overestimated Biden's support by 0.5% and underestimated Trump's support by 1.2%. And do you know the state that actually threw those averages way off because the pollsters missed by 6 percentage points? It was Wisconsin. The final Real Clear polling, then known as Real Clear Politics average of polls, so all of the polls taken in the final couple of days of the race, showed Biden leading Wisconsin 51% to 44.3%. He was up by 6.7 percentage points in the polls. Do you know how much he actually won Wisconsin by? That's right, less than 1%, 0.7%. Every other swing state was within about a point to a point and a half. In fact, the final Real Clear polling average of Georgia showed Trump with a 1% lead. He, in fact, lost the state of Georgia by 0.3%. So while it's a common refrain to just mistrust the polls, and I would not hang my hat, nor would I get up or down with any poll, especially not one in early to mid-September, what you can say is, okay, within a reasonable amount of error, this is probably where the race is. So what can you take away from that? Let's say the polling is right about where it was in 2020. Were this the case, Trump, in the Real Clear polling average of polls right now, is either tied or within about 0.6 to 0.7% in every single swing state. In North Carolina, which I actually believe, call it a hunch, I know I'm going against what the data says, Trump is only up 0.1% in the Real Clear polling average of polls. I don't think North Carolina is really in play. Clearly, the Harris campaign doesn't think so either, because she's not. You would think North Carolina would be a state that she would just be going to constantly. Nevada shows Harris up by about 0.5% right now. But if that overestimates her support by 0.5% and underestimates Trump by 1.2, as the average of the battleground states were in 2020, that means Trump is probably ahead by a point or two. Same thing in Michigan. Real Clear polling average, Harris up 1.2. You can probably, applying the same miss. And remember, the polling right before, the polling I was looking at was not the polling in mid-September, which actually showed a much bigger Joe Biden lead. The polling I'm looking at is the polling that is considered to be the most accurate, and that's the last couple of polls that are done in the waning days or week or two of the actual election. If you apply the same margin of error, if you apply the same overestimation of the Democrats' chances as what happened in 2020, Trump actually is ahead in every single swing state. It is my very strong belief, and I don't know, do you think we could get Nate Silver on the program? I bet you. Do you want to reach out to his people? I would actually love to. I don't know if he'd actually talk to some jamoke like me, but well, I know I'm not a jamoke. I am in a critical swing state, and I do have a very popular radio show on the most listened to radio station, according to market share in the entire United States of America. Not talk radio station, any radio station, AM, FM, whatever. WISN radio it has the highest audience share of any station in the United States. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts, all of us, Mark, Jay, Vicky, Clay and Buck, Jerry Bott, Dave, everybody who works so hard on this station. We can't thank you enough for putting your trust and faith into us. We know you've got a lot of almost an infinite number of possibilities that you can listen to with all the political podcasts are out there. So we really do thank you. So no, okay, I'm not a jamoke, but let's see if we can't get Nate Silver on. I am almost totally convinced that the reason his model is far more bullish on Trump than everybody else is he's the only one taking into account the polling misses in 2016 and 2020. And there might be people out there listening to me saying, well, why is Dan focused so much on 2016 and 2020? Because this is the best data we have to try to determine, okay, how accurate are the polls going to be in 2024? Past is not prologue, but the best predictor of the future is what? Past events. I am Dan O'Donnell. This is Conservative Thought, not just talk. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for my great friends at Mander Collision and Glass. Now, with 6 locations to serve you, you hear me talk about how great Mander is, their work ethic, their customer service. Here's customer Hank. Took my Corvette in for a new windshield with camera in the glass. Their tech knew everything and did a great job. Everyone there was friendly and helpful. I loved the modern and very neat waiting area. Thank you, guys. Finally, even the bathroom was very clean. This is a very professional family-run business. When I need any more work done, I'm coming here. Peter, you're the best. He even brought this old man an armchair so I could sit and work on my laptop. The receptionist was very quick to say hello and knew everything about my job. Thank you. No, thank you, Hank, for reminding me and everyone about the Mander difference. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com. That's mandercollision.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Affordable Dentures and Implants practices in the Milwaukee area make new smiles affordable every day, so you don't need to wait another day to get your smile back. Visit us in Milwaukee, Kenosha, or Menominee Falls. Call 1-800-DENTURE. Affordable Dentures and Implants.
Go ahead and smile.
With nearly 50 years of experience, my dad, Jim Mullally, has taught my cousin Mark everything he knows. In fact, he bestowed so much expertise onto Mark that Mark went to New York to compete against the top furniture finishers in the country. And you know what? He won. So if you're looking for the finest of furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. The bulk of our business is in wood furniture restoration. We found that there are a lot of folks out there with antique furniture and heirloom pieces that are in good shape, but just need to be brought back to life again. Well, that's our specialty. And right here in Mequon, you'll find one of the country's top furniture finishers. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no jobs too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Ever feel like you're playing hide and seek with the store employees while shopping for your home renovation?
Hey, can I get some help here?
Skip the hassle and head to Granite Plus for experts who know granite, Cambria, cabinets, and flooring. Granite Plus gives you personalized expertise and affordability with 0% financing available. Visit Granite Plus in New Berlin today and say goodbye to the big store confusion. Granite Plus. Better design, service, value. Make your home the perfect gathering spot today.
Hi, I'm Mike Madsen, owner of Color Wheel Painting, and today I've got some fun new announcements. First, after years of confusing you with our website name being remodelandpaint.com, we finally own colorwheelpainting.com. It may sound silly, but I've been waiting 20 years for this domain name squatter to let it go. As they say, patience is a virtue. Second, with colorwheelpainting.com comes a whole new colorwheelpainting.com website. You'll love it. It's easier to navigate, offers great photo galleries, a wealth of information, and I invite you to check it out. Third, the grade most painters go through twice. We've opened a wallpaper installation division. Headed by Sherry on our staff, we're now offering our top-notch customer service, communication, honesty, and value-driven pricing to install wallpaper and murals for you. Color Wheel Painting. We just keep getting better. colorwheelpainting.com.
Make American Family Field your space to grow relationships with clients, employees, and prospects with Brewers season memberships for the 2025 season. Your corporate season membership with the Brewers grants exclusive discounts on premium meeting spaces, invitations to networking events, and one-of-a-kind opportunities to grow your business at the ballpark. Learn more about Brewers season memberships for businesses at brewers.com/ticket plans or call 414-902-HITS.
Between market volatility, inflation, global unrest, and the presidential election, there's a lot going on. Take control with help from Annex Wealth Management. Have a plan built that matches up with your investment and retirement goals. Annex does it as a fee-only fiduciary with unbiased advice. Annex offers financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. Head to AnnexWealth.com, click the Get Started button. It's time to put things in order. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. AnnexWealth.com.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell McDonald for CertaPro painters. Let the CertaPro professionals help you choose the right color for your home that you will love for years to come. Free estimates, reliable communication, professional painting, all at the right price. Call your neighborhood CertaPro painter and ask about their color consultation services. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro painters.
We're less than 2 weeks away from our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Taking over T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, September 20th and 21st. Stream only on Hulu.
Get tickets while you still can now at AXS.com.
This year, you can be there to witness all of the incredible once-in-a-lifetime performances live and in person. Buy your iHeartRadio Music Festival tickets now, starting at just $55 plus taxes and fees at AXS.com.
Are you tired of being tired? Go to AdventKnows.com.
A lot over the past couple of days about I'm very interested in psychology, what motivates human behavior. What is the psychology behind getting super mad at a reporter, or in this case, a talk show host, for reporting information that was entirely 100% accurate as somehow being misinformation? On Sunday afternoon, I received information from two different sources, from two different law enforcement agencies, that remains, one source saying, of a small child were found and confirmed to be human the previous day at Camp Manitou, Two Rivers. Now, this turned out to be not totally accurate, as the remains were actually found very near the border of Camp Manitou. Law enforcement was going through. They don't know where the end of the Camp Manitou Two Rivers property line and a private hunting ground, there's also a quarry right there, ends. So I was told, okay, Camp Manitou Two Rivers. Oh my goodness, it's misinformation. The staging area was in Camp Manitou Two Rivers. All of the law enforcement officers were going through the land owned by Camp Manitou Two Rivers. One law enforcement source told me that the skull was much smaller than an adult human skull, meaning that the skull that was confirmed to be human was that of a small child. One law enforcement source told me, and this is backed up by communication from law enforcement to other law enforcement, that there were items found near the skeletal remains that would indicate that this is a very small child, i.e., a diaper. Other bones were found. Now, at no point did I say that these remains were found to be and identified as those of Elijah Vu, the 3-year-old boy who was missing since February 20th after he was apparently supposed to pray next to the bed of his mom's boyfriend, Jesse Vang, who fell asleep, just took a 3-hour nap at 10 a.m., as one does. He woke up, Elijah was gone. The skeletal remains were found very near the house, in an area that apparently had not been searched before. Because of the sheer size of this, the rescue teams thought they had searched every single area. It turns out they did not. A hunter discovered the skeletal remains on Saturday, at some point during the day Saturday, contacted law enforcement. Because of the proximity to the home of Jesse Vang and the mother of Elijah Vu, authorities rather obviously are operating on a very strong assumption. Although the remains have not been identified, identification will come through DNA testing, dental records, the typical ways that skeletal remains are identified. But because of the proximity to the home, because there were no other missing children who theoretically could have fit the size of the skull and other bones that were found, they are operating on the very strong suspicion that the remains belong to Elijah Vu. Given the fact that Elijah has been missing since February, it was always the assumption that he was murdered. It was always the assumption. Now, law enforcement officers will not tell you publicly, especially leaders of law enforcement, like, say, the Manitowoc County Sheriff. He's very limited in what he can say publicly so as to not jeopardize an investigation. Do you think he is privately telling his deputies, yeah, we've just got no idea who this small child skeleton might have belonged to? Standard law enforcement procedure is to, just like with polling, analyze the totality of the circumstances. No, we can't positively identify the body yet, but there is very strong circumstantial evidence given where the body was found, given the fact that there were two different searches of Camp Manitou Two Rivers during the initial search following the disappearance of Elijah, meant that it's a very strong probability that if Elijah was killed and his body was dumped in the woods or buried or whatever, it would have been in this area, right? Well, it took a long time. It took 6 months, but when the body that is believed to be that of a child is found very near to where the initial search was, it is very likely. You can operate on an assumption. So what I reported is also correct, that I heard from both law enforcement sources saying, look, we can't identify the body, but there is a very strong likelihood. We believe this is very likely the body of Elijah Vu. They're not going to say this publicly. This is also why I report using anonymous sources, because they are not authorized to speak on the record. In exchange for telling me information that I can use to report factual information, I grant them anonymity because they would face very serious professional repercussions if they were giving out information that is not authorized to be given out. Now, those of you who understand the news business understand this is sort of how it works. I take no joy in reporting the very sad, incredibly tragic, but always inevitable end to the Elijah Vu disappearance. It brings me no joy to report that. But given the fact that this is a story that was of international significance, given the fact that there was such a large law enforcement presence, as I was, believe it or not, preparing to report this, first on Twitter or X, and then on Facebook on Sunday, I got 2 different Facebook messages of that law enforcement presence outside of Camp Manitou with the message, and these were people not connected with law enforcement, saying, hey, Dan, it looks like there's something going on. There was also a very large police presence at the home near this camp that was shared by the mother, the boyfriend, and little Elijah Vu. All of this ties in. If there's no connection, there's no longer a need to go back to this house, but once a body is found, there is new evidence and potentially new leads that can go back. They can go back and investigate. What is actually kind of remarkable to me, and this is almost unanimously a female phenomenon, at least judging by all of the angry comments and emails and whatever else I've gotten since breaking this story. I understand the shoot the messenger aspect of this, that there was this hope that was to some extent extinguished on Sunday with my report that Elijah would be found alive, that Jesse Vang sent him to live with some other relative or friend, and that one day he would turn up and be safe and sound. Folks, that almost never happens. Everybody remembers the Elizabeth Smart kidnapping. That's one out of maybe 20,000. It just, that almost, where she was found alive, not alive and well, she was in some sort of weird cult where she was being held as a sex slave. Say that again? Kloss, yep. The other one, the Kloss. I mean, these are so notable. That's right, Dave. That's right. That was, 2 years ago? What was her name? Jamie Kloss? That's right. That was 4 years? Oh my goodness. No way. That was 5 years ago already. The girls, the young women, the 3 young women who were being held captive in the basement in Cleveland. Remember that? They were being held. It is so unusual. Almost always, when someone goes missing, law enforcement will operate on the, not assumption, but very strong presumption that they were murdered. After about 48 to 72 hours of somebody being missing, the odds of them being found alive plummet to near zero. It's an unfortunate truth. It's an unfortunate reality. And it's unfortunate that this innocent, sweet little boy could have been the victim of such barbarism, such monstrous behavior from someone who he trusted, someone who the mother trusted to take care of him. And yes, the operating assumption that law enforcement is going on is the last person to see somebody alive is invariably the prime suspect in their disappearance. So it is a logical conclusion that law enforcement, and I would guess they're doing this right now, going right back to Jesse Vang, who's still sitting in the Manitowoc County Jail, saying, look, we have a body now. What do you want to tell us? To put pressure on him to confess. This is truth. This is not speculation. I love this. Well, Dan's just doing this for fame and attention. Yeah, because I spend most of my days covering missing children. On a Sunday, I was coaching soccer and watching football and trying to track down this story. Yes, I am such a fame whore that I just want to break stories. Come on. But what motivates that? I think it's a level of denial. And again, this cognitive dissonance of just not being able to believe that what's accurate is accurate. And then that grief, that hurt, that anger gets sort of calcified against the messenger. This is the shoot the messenger philosophy, right? You get mad at the person who brings you bad news because there's really no one else to be mad at least right now. I did not say the body was that of Elijah Vu. In fact, I took great pains to say the body has not yet been identified, but given the proximity to the previous search efforts and the proximity to a known location of Jesse Vang and the mother, Kristen Baird, the mother, given that proximity, it is a natural assumption that law enforcement investigators would make. All right, enough of that. So what do you think it is, Producer Dave? Why do you think people just lash out? They get so angry? Yes. Well, the other one was that I reported this before the family was notified. To be clear, family will be notified when an identified body is found. I will always respect the notification of family. In fact, I can't even tell you how many stories we have held. Producer Dave, I mean, how many times I said, okay, on this one, we're going to let law enforcement go because I'm sure there's family that hasn't been notified. When there is a body found in connection with an investigation, especially, and you might say, I waited 24 hours. I did not get this information 50 seconds before I posted it. I needed to verify it. I needed to vet it. Once I started getting pictures of a growing law enforcement scene, I said, okay, this is very clearly accurate, and went with the information. it is not. What do you think would happen if I would have called up the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department and said, hey, have you told the Vu family that a body was found in connection with the search? They would have told me no comment. They would have told me I cannot confirm or deny. There's no. What are we supposed to do here? This is how the news business works. Yeah, wait for the police to always, and the irony is not lost on me, by the way, as the person who got a whole ton of hate for daring to defend the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department against charges that they killed Teresa Halbach and framed Stephen Avery, that now the same people who are way too obsessed with true crime are getting all over for me for not trusting the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department. Yes, I do appreciate that irony. Dan O'Donnell Show, coming right back.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, host of the Designer Yard Show and owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Do you love your landscaping? Do you appreciate the perfect blend of plants, stone, and wood that embraces your home? Do you delight in sitting on your patio with a cool drink, taking in the beauty of your backyard? If you answer yes, then we have a lot in common. Now, one more question. Does all of this beauty disappear when the sun goes down? Since 1994, the experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services have been creating beautiful landscaping that can and should be enjoyed even after dark. If the beauty and pleasure of your landscaping disappears when the sun goes down, you should consider a fully automatic landscape lighting system. The experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services are gifted at creating deliciously soft, subtle nighttime scenes. To schedule a meeting with one of our lighting designers, please call 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Kino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab-overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
When it comes to your physical health, getting to the bottom of a problem cannot happen fast enough. This is where Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin's Ortho ASAP clinics come to the rescue. If you're experiencing any sort of bone-on-bone, joint, or muscle problem, walk right in and be seen by an orthopedic specialist trained specifically to treat these conditions. Their website is orthowisconsin.com. The Ortho ASAP clinics are located at both the Pewaukee and Brookfield Square locations and are a lower cost, higher quality alternative to the traditional emergency room or urgent care. You'll be sure to be seen by an experienced orthopedic specialist who's surrounded by a staff that is trained to provide you with the best possible care. Also, their Ortho ASAP clinics are housed where they have on-site x-ray, physical therapy, and MRI capabilities to help with your care all right there. You can learn more at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Hey, I'm going to let you in on a wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, they want you to think that unlimited data is fantastic. Well, the fact is, it's not. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, only charges you for data that you need. With just $25 a month, you get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 5 gigs of data, plus mobile hotspot. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, and do it now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Save money, same service with Pure Talk.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And you know, there's more to being a local Wisconsin bank than perfectly pronouncing Oconomowoc or Waukesha. Or is it Waukesha? But rest assured, at Great Midwest Bank, we understand the local community and economy because we're a part of it. At GMB, we provide customized lending products that others just can't offer. Experience a hometown banking difference. Head to greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Between market volatility, inflation, global unrest, and the presidential election, there's a lot going on. Take control with help from Annex Wealth Management. Have a plan built that matches up with your investment and retirement goals. Annex does it as a fee-only fiduciary with unbiased advice. Annex offers financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. Head to AnnexWealth.com, click the Get Started button. It's time to put things in order. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. AnnexWealth.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
I suppose I can't let today's show pass without mentioning the passing of one of the greatest actors of this or any other generation. Clearly, I think one of the most, if not the most iconic voice actors of all time, James Earl Jones, passed away yesterday at the age of 93. The voice of Darth Vader. Name a more iconic voice than that of Darth Vader. He was also the voice of Mustafa, had an incredible role. His monologue about baseball, the way it was delivered in Field of Dreams, where he played, I keep wanting to say Moonlight Graham. He played Terrence Mann, I think, the author, who was it Terry Mann? Terrence Mann, producer Dave? Yeah, he was Terrence Mann in Field of Dreams. I haven't seen Field of Dreams in probably 15 years. When I was a kid, I must have watched that film 20 to 25 times. No, not at all. Even as a kid, even as an 11-year-old kid, I watched it with my grandpa in his den, and I can still go back to that memory of watching that film with my grandpa, who's long since passed away, in his den, and just feeling that love and James Earl Jones being such an integral part of that just speaks volumes about his eternal legacy. Dan O'Donnell Show back tomorrow, 9:06.